Hi everyone, welcome to the next video from this series from Tiny Year. We are on page 20, the May pictures of all these lovely florals. Well, we've got some butterflies as well. And the second picture, if we come in closer. Now I'm thinking, is this a peony, maybe a rose, something like that? I'm not entirely sure. But I'm going to probably colour it in some pinks. I think maybe yellow in the middle there would be quite pretty. Maybe I'll start there and have a little think as I go. So I'm going to, do those little circles in the dark cadmium yellow. This is Polychromos pencils, by the way. Excuse me. So I've just had lunch. I went out to town. It was so hot. I'm still melting. Cool down properly yet. Now that's the sort of round circles. It might be a little tricky to see. And then I am going to use the light chrome yellow to do a little yellow area sort of around them. Because they're darker, I can just actually go on top of them, just sort of at the bottom. The top bit here will be a petal colour. There we go, just to make a sort of yellowy bit in the middle. I think it looks quite pretty that way. Now we're going to get the darkest pink that I'm going to be using, which is the fuchsia. Now, I probably will add some darker colour in the sort of shadowy bits later, but this will be my darkest colour to start with. And we're going to start in the middle here. Put it right, I need to sharpen it right down against that yellow. Here. Now this bit is sort of inside, so I'm going to make this all quite dark, I think, like that. But the rest of our petals will fade towards the tips. It will just be the bits that are sort of overlapping. So let's do this one, for example. Here where it's overlapping, I'm going to put a sort of darker line, like that, quite intense. And then I will just taper it off a little bit. Like that. There. Now this one, sometimes it's a little hard to work out what direction they're pointing in, but I think I figure out that that is the edge there. This bit is sticking out, so I think I'm going to sort of taper it off, sort of like that. That's a bit harsh, that line, but we'll sort it out as we go. That bit I'm going to have lighter because it's sort of on the top. The sort of deeper bits would be darker. Thinking maybe a shadow there. A little bit here perhaps. Like that. It's, yeah, it's really warm. I was a bit wilty. When I came back, had a nice coffee and some lunch, feeling a bit better. But foofy, I mean, it isn't like, it's not like silly hot. I think it's, I don't actually know how hot it is, to be honest, but we're just not used to it. Because I was thinking, like, sort of this time last week I was like in a coat and scarf, and this week I'm too hot in a t-shirt and people are about in shorts, you know, and just that sudden change in temperature, it's quite difficult to cope with. And I had quite a few different jobs to do in town. I went in and dropped off my husband's prescription. It's a private prescription, so we had it posted to us to drop that off. And I went around the edge. I think I might go around the edge of this one too. And then I had to buy my son some toothpaste. And then I went and picked up my library book. It's a biography of Laura Ingalls Wilder. Now I'm rereading her kiddies books at the moment. I found them when I was having my tidy out, and I was thinking, am I going to keep these or not? So I thought I'd reread them, and then I'll probably get rid of them because I haven't read them for 20 years or so, maybe 10. So I think, well, I reread them. But what's interesting is rereading them, I realised that actually the first and second book are my favourites, and I know them so well because I had them as a child, and I think they're far better than the rest so far, although I haven't read them all again yet. But I thought it'd be but our library, interestingly, doesn't stock the whole series, so I couldn't get them out, the whole lot, if I wanted to read them there. They've only got 1 and 2, but they're the nice ones. And maybe because they're getting a bit aged, in the sense of, you know, young children maybe aren't interested in that sort of thing, I don't know. I feel like I need a bit down here. Anyway, rereading those, and they're really quite scruffy, my books. Because I used to buy and sell books, I kept all the scruffy ones for me and sold all the good ones when I came across them. And so a lot of them pages are falling out and things like that, so they're not that good. So I thought, well, maybe I will just get rid of them once I've read them. I'll decide when I finish them. And one of them, this is light purple pink. One of them did come from America. My husband went there and brought me some back. So maybe that one, but we'll see. We'll see. But yes, I've got the library book, which is, the review said it's as delightful as the books. I'm not sure, but we'll find out when I read it. I can't remember who it was by, but it was the only one they had. I thought I'd give it a go. You don't have to read it all. You know, it's a library book, and just send it back half read or not read, whatever. So I did that, but I also popped into the sports shop and bought myself some trainers, because I want some waterproof trainers so that I can walk in the rain in them, in the summer rain, you know, because often my previous trainers were all pretty waterproof, and it's quite handy because when it's hot and raining, I still don't want to get absolutely soaking wet feet, and I also want some protection, like if I'm along the canal path and it's muddy, that sort of thing. So I'm sorry I'm not talking you through what I'm doing. I hope it's quite obvious, really. So I picked myself up some trainers. They were quite expensive because they're sort of Gore-Tex. I'm hoping they'll last, and it was an independent sports shop, which is always nice to support. Plus my birthday is coming up. I don't know what day this video is going out, probably already passed my birthday by then, but my husband's been telling me to choose something, so there we go. I mean, I do need to wear them in a bit, I think, before my birthday, just to check. He said I've got like 2 weeks, and then I can take them back if they don't quite fit. Now this is my final pink, which is the Pink Madder Lake, so I'm going to fill in all the areas. But I'm going to try and keep it quite pale on those tips. Still, not, you know, not put down too much pink. Anyway, so I picked up my library book. Yeah, got my son's toothpaste, dropped off the prescription. Then I went to the grocery store, got my son wanted a Scotch egg for his lunch, so I got one of those. For those of you, I wonder if all countries get Scotch eggs. They're basically a hard-boiled egg encased in sausage meat with breadcrumbs on the outside. The one I got him was like outdoor reared pork and hen chickens, and high welfare, and the egg was supposed to be runny. He said it wasn't quite, it was a little bit, and you know, I was hoping it would be nicer, and it didn't look like the pork was too overly processed with too many nasty chemicals in and things like that. And I expect it was really expensive, but I just got him that because he asked me for that, and I'm hoping that it increases his concentration this afternoon. He's feeling quite tired this morning and struggling to get any work done, so we'll see what happens. And so I got him that and did the other groceries that I needed. Bought the other groceries. Right, now I want a little bit more definition between the layers. There was a bit there. Now what do we use? Well, I don't really want to use I often use the dark sepia, it works really nicely, but I'm thinking because this is more of a cold colour, I'm going to try using the Paynes Grey instead. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference, but it just won't look quite so brown, and I think grey look will work better. So we're going to put some under here where everything's overlapping, sort of down in these little creases. Just to try and make it look like there's a tad of shadow in some of these spaces. It's quite, sometimes it doesn't feel quite right putting like grey or black right on top of your colour. You may feel a little bit reluctant if you don't want to do it. Just leave it in the pink. And as I say, this grey is quite harsh, but it's what I want. I want you to really be able to see that shadow. There we go. Oh, I've got an itchy eye. Yeah, I walked along the canal path in both directions. It was quite warm actually, because it was midday as I was walking back. There was very little shade. It's normally quite shady along there, but the trees weren't giving me much shade. And I saw a moorhen squawked at me, making a lovely little squawking noise as I went by. It was very busy swimming up and down. And yeah, I saw some little birds. I couldn't make out quite what they were. There were a lot of wagtails along there. I think they're the pied wagtails. I'm not sure. I think some of them are yellow. I don't know if they're called yellow wagtails, so I'm not sure. Anyway, there are a few wagtails around as well. And I saw a huge big fat pigeon sitting on a telegraph pole, just looking down on the world as if he was the most important person in the world, bird in the world. It was quite funny. I love fat pigeons, they just make me smile. I'm fiddling now, just adding bits and bobs of texture. And what I'm going to do is get my fuchsia and sort of go over the top of those black lines a little bit. And that'll just sort of soften them a tad. Yeah, it was quite a pleasant walk apart from the heat. Yeah, you know me, I'm not a fan of hot weather. It's not going to last though, fortunately. Well, the rest of the week. I think it's cooling down on Friday. So it's Wednesday already, so it's only a few days. And then we're getting sort of a bit cloudier and cooler weather, which will be nice. But I might have to put the heating on to get the washing dry. I'm struggling a bit. There we go. Now we have the stem. I'm having a think. I think the permanent green might be a good start for our stem. Oops, here it is, permanent green. I'm just going to fill it all in to start with. Now I do want it to look a bit more three-dimensional and interesting, but I'm just getting that base of green down to get me started, get my brain thinking, what am I going to do with it? Roses often have quite dark leaves. It depends on the rose. I've got a rose in my kitchen at the moment. I bought this little rose. I thought it was a good value because it was a little baby miniature rose, and I'm going to use the juniper green to put on some shadow and darker areas. I'm going to go each side of the stem to start with, and it had there were about 10 blooms on it, and it was pink and pretty. and it was only £5. And I thought, you know what, that if I bought a bunch of roses with that many blooms, that would cost me far more than that, and this is going to last a long time. So I thought, this was 2 weeks ago, it's dead. I'm not sure whether it's just pot bound or whether I needed to water it a lot more. You know, the instructions were like, just keep the soil damp and don't let it sit in water. So I didn't think I should water it too much, but yeah, maybe I should have watered it a little bit more. I'm going back to my permanent green now. Yeah, it's not very happy. So I'm thinking, should I buy another one and try another one, see if I water it a bit more often, whether it'll be happier. I think I might. It's been really pretty, but none of the buds opened. One was already open, and that stayed open, and that's the freshest looking one there is. All the others just didn't open, and they've just gone all dark and crispy. So I'm sure it's me, not the plant. This is grass green, but maybe I should go to a florist and get one, and then I could ask them how to look after it. We've got a nice florist in town. I might do that tomorrow. I'll have to go back out to pick up husband's prescription. She said she'd have to order it. It'd probably be ready tomorrow. So, but actually that'll probably be in the afternoon. It'll probably be too hot. But I could always pop out in the morning, get a plant, and get the prescription the day after. I don't think he's in an urgent hurry, but we'll see. Right, where I've done these dark black areas, I want to do a little bit of a lighter grey coming away from them, so that it isn't quite so harsh. So I'm using this Cold Grey 3, and what I'm going to do is, see here where I've got a bit of grey, I'm just going to scumble it out with the 3. It might not be massively noticeable. I just want to just work it a little bit more before we finish. You don't have to. If you like it as it is, just leave it as it is. You might have not put in the Paynes grey anyway. There we go. But yes, it was apart from the heat, it was quite a pleasant walk. Didn't see many people I knew. The guy who served me in the supermarket, I've seen him before. He was friendly and chatty, and yeah, the person actually in the I'm just going to use a white to do the tips. The person in the sports shop, she was new, and she was quite slow, and she thanked me for my patience as a white, but it was fine. I was nosing at things. I was asking about the cost of the tennis rackets and badminton rackets, because I've got some, but I'm having a sort out, and I'm thinking, do I need them? Am I ever going to use them again? And I'm thinking badminton, very possibly. I really like badminton, but tennis, I don't know. So I thought, you know, maybe if I get rid of it, let's see how much. He said, oh, tennis rackets start at £35–40. I was like, actually, that's not too silly. You know, if I decided to take up tennis or something. Very unlikely, isn't it? Well, I think it is anyway. Okay, there is our finished plant. I think it looks quite cute in its pink, even though I'm not usually a big pink fan. But there it is. So, we've got a pretty one tomorrow as well. But thank you for watching today. Yeah, hope that you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.